Hey guys, it's Krishanti with Krishanti.com talking about psychic development and spiritual and personal growth. So if you like this topic, please hit the like button and subscribe because I do a new video every week. And I've made some videos about mindfulness. I've talked about it before. What I wanted to explore a little bit in this video is about how powerful mindfulness is as a grounding and coping mechanism. So, a grounding technique and a coping mechanism. So, if you're anything like me, you're a little bit sensitive. I'm like very, very sensitive, which is very helpful for me as an intuitive and a healer, but can also be not so helpful because I can get easily overwhelmed by energies. When people are angry or upset, I feel it, and it's difficult. But what I found is that practicing mindfulness is so incredibly helpful, and I wanted to know or ask if you found yourself doing something like this too. So here's what I've noticed that has been happening to me as an adult. When something really upsetting happens, like I find out someone I love has cancer, or there's been an accident, or somebody just died, or like something really big or upsetting happens, I immediately start cleaning. And it's nuts. Like I just immediately like get something and I start dusting, or like I'll be on the phone and I'm like, okay, I got to clean this, I got to organize this, I got to do this and that. And that act, I realized, is mindfulness. It's not what your Buddhists will tell you is mindful, because I'm like chatting on the phone and I'm like super duper like cleaning and everything, but it is essentially modern mindfulness, because it's being involved and absorbed in doing something that captivates your attention, and it's a way to release energy productively. So I wonder if that ever happens with you. If so, leave a comment below or let me know how you cope when you find something like incredibly stressful going on, because it'd be interesting to see how we all deal with things like that. But as I've progressed and started doing more channeling work, and bringing in different energies into the space that I work in, I've noticed that I've become very ungrounded, because I can do what you call bilocating. I can bilocate, which in the remote viewing terminology is sort of being in two places at once. So you're here, your consciousness is here, but a part of you is also somewhere else. And so when I do the channeling work, I go up to these higher realms, and a large part of my consciousness really is there. And let me tell you, it's so nice up there that I enjoy being in that light and in that energy and in those realms. So coming back down to the earth plane, in busy, crowded, loud LA where I live, can be difficult. And so sometimes I'll be spacey, and I'll talk, but I don't, the words aren't matching up with them. I stumble over my words. I get easily overwhelmed or distracted. And that's being ungrounded, which is, to be honest with you, not cool. It's not safe where you're supposed to be in your body. While it might sound interesting and funny to be loopy and out to lunch, it's not effective in living in this 3D reality to be ungrounded. And I'm sure you are, if you're watching this, you're interested in the psychic arts, you probably do the work yourself or are a healer, energy worker, you know what I'm talking about. Like, we can just have so much fun out in La La Land, not in a negative way, like in these other beautiful realms, that to be here, it's like hard. We'd rather just check out. But that, again, is where mindfulness is so helpful. So what I started doing and practicing, we'll see how far I can get with it, but I started doing jiu-jitsu. I'd always been interested in martial arts, but I took a class a few years ago, and in the first trial class, I dislocated my shoulder. It was like we're doing some kind of shoulder thing, and that sucked. So I wasn't doing anything for a while, but my son is little, is taking jiu-jitsu. And I thought, okay, well, let me just try it. And it was terrifying because I've never done anything like that before. But people are very, very nice, very helpful, really great teachers. And the thing about it is, if you're not completely mindful and fully grounded in your body, you're not going to be able to do it, and you'll get hurt. And I found time and time again, and a lot of people do, like, I think this is the way people tend to function, and that's why they set up the classes. Like, the instructor will show a technique 3 times with his partner, so he's doing it on the partner 3 times, then the partner will do it on him 3 times, so you're watching this technique be done 6 times, and everybody's staring and everybody's watching, everybody's getting it. And then when you have to go practice it, it's like I go totally blank. But then bringing myself back into my body and remembering, okay, someone told me an interesting helpful tip would be to actually say the steps out loud. In fact, a couple of people said that. Say, so I'm going to do this with this, and then I'm going to move here, and then do that. And then that's mindfulness. That is you being fully engaged in the present moment. And to take it a step further, martial arts is a wonderful training for the mind and body, but it's also self-defense. And so here you're marrying mindfulness with being in the face of danger, which is what I was talking about at the beginning. Like it's when you hear someone's has a surgery, or there's been an accident, or somebody just died. Like that is danger. And the immediate response for me has been to do something like that's essentially mindfulness, but cleaning and stuff like that. So I think that's very, very fascinating. And if you are doing this sort of work, or you're interested in this, I would advise you to make sure you do something every day to connect with your body. And from my experience, I work out every day. I exercise, I lift weights, I do cardio, I take classes. That's great, but that alone isn't quite enough now. And so I'm finding that the martial arts practice is helping more. For many people, yoga is very helpful, and it can ground you. I have a friend who gets so grounded and so present in her yoga practice. It just really speaks to her. For some people, doing too much yoga, though, can have the same effect as the channeling and kind of being out of your body. So it's different for different people. But once you find the thing that works for you, of course, being in nature, it almost goes without saying, but being outside and looking around and noticing everything you see. You can just take a mindfulness meditative walk, or a mindful meditation walk, or however you would say it. That's me, like, being ungrounded, I guess, because my words are coming out right. But just being aware of everything that's around you is very, very helpful. But I think that's kind of just the gist of what I was meaning to say in this video. Let me think if there's anything else. I'll say this: if you find your mind wandering or going off to places that aren't helpful, or that you are feeling spacey and scattered, you can draw yourself back right away. Like, let's say you're driving, and a lot of us go on autopilot when we're driving. We're not really focusing. You can immediately just feel your hands on the steering wheel. Tune into the music you're listening to, and like just notice the cars on the road, and notice what's going on around you. In fact, it's as simple as that. It's like paying attention without... This is interesting and helpful for an intuitive or someone that's learning intuition, because there are 2 ways you can do this. One is practicing being mindful and noticing someone without having any thoughts or judgments or anything come up except for the fact that you're just observing, very statistically speaking, very practically without judgment. So instead of saying like, oh, I see a man in an orange top that is baggy and kind of, I don't really like that style. It's kind of weird and what has, like they start to go about this. Instead, you're just like, there's a man in an orange top and he's wearing those kind of pants and those kind of shoes, and just notice it all. What I was going to say is on the flip side of that, there's another technique for, this is just for mindfulness, but for developing intuition, which is going to be another video, it has to be. There's a way you can practice being more intuitive by looking at someone and noticing what they're feeling and what's going on, and just let those impressions come into your mind. So that's going a little deeper and activating your psychic abilities. But I digress with that. Let's just keep it to sticking with mindfulness, where you just see what is before you and be really rooted and grounded in your body. So that's about all now that I wanted to say about that. Thank you so much for watching. Again, lots of videos, videos on YouTube, clearly. Lots of meditations, and I'm laughing at myself because I'm doing what I said I did, where I'm like, I'm talking, but then I'm like not thinking. I think because here's what I'm doing again. It's like I'm talking to you, and then already part of me is thinking about driving to go get my son from school, like right now. So see how it's very easy to get ungrounded if you're in this sort of intuitive space all the time. So I'm going to ground myself back in here. Thanks again, you guys, and I'll see you next time. Okay, bye.